Good afternoon. Get out of the fog. Get in here.
As the guy calling the plays, what was that Monday like? Of like, okay, Gino's going to work out, he's active, but who's like, obviously even more than we did, but just that process of kind of getting two quarterbacks ready to go.
Yeah, I think that was a week where it was a full process. Taking it right up to the pregame there. I think going back to the thing I love about working with Gino and Drew is their similar skill sets, their ability to bring the offense to life with similar play styles, and so that allowed us during the course of the week to prepare for the either or scenario there, and obviously the results came out on the positive side there for Drew, especially with that amazing ending that he was able to put together. So it all worked out. It was a little different week, and we did our best to get through it.
You mean the game plan?
I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask, you mean the game plans didn't have to be, the two different game plans you had to prepare didn't have to be too different from one another?
Correct. And again, going back to, kind of the reason to like both of those guys in this offense, is Drew's ability to operate and play at a level, at a high level in a similar system, in a similar, similar conceptually to what Gino can do. And so it allows us to have that ability during the course of the week to game plan and keep in mind the other 10 guys that'll be on the field every snap, where they're not trying to say, hey, we got to learn two different systems going into the week, and they can feel comfortable and confident going into the game.
What role, if any, did you have in the will he play, won't he play, or were you just going to deal with whatever cards they gave you on that?
Yeah, I think for me, I stay away from the medical part of that. So just trying to stay in the positive mindset, knowing that Gino's mindset is he's going to play every chance that he can and push it to the limit. So he was in that mindset, and then for me, just going out there and listening to his input, and then everyone coming together collectively for a decision there, and keeping the player's safety in mind as the number one factor going into that. And so once that decision was made for me, then I'm clicked into, okay, let's go with Drew. And I thought the amazing part about that was seeing the true relationship that Gino and Drew have both established with each other, with us as coaches. So it's not an easy thing for Gino to deal with, knowing that his mind's set on playing, and then it's not going to work out that way. But then to flip over and be supportive and helpful on the sideline and with Drew, and then you just see that genuine appreciation and happiness when Drew's able to make the play at the end, and those two guys that really care about each other have been through a lot in competition going back a couple of years now, but have built a relationship that extends beyond just the competitive nature of the position that they're in.
What kind of assistant coach is Geno Smith?
What kind of an assistant coach? He's a good. I mean, take any quarterback, take Gino. On the sideline, he sees things. He's seeing things going when he's getting a chance to step away and just watch the game happen. And so he's good. Positive reinforcement. Little tidbits here and there as he's seeing it throughout the game, and stuff that's I think encouraging. And I think from my lens, all the input that you can get throughout the course of the game, the players are going to see stuff throughout the course of the game. And we've talked about that clear, open, and honest communication. And I want all that, the input that they can give us, just like we talk as assistant coaches throughout the course of drives. The player input to me is just as important as the coach's input, because those are the guys that are out there living each play down in and down out. And I think being able to openly hear everything that's coming across the airwaves from my role, and then being able to filter through and use what can best help our team. And so Gino was great with it, and I think he'd have a great future, down the line, a long time down the line, once his great career is over. Sorry.
Yeah. We saw the headset he was wearing. Was that a one-way listening, or was he talking to you between plays?
No, that's the one way, but the advantage of being on the field, get to interact with him right there on the sideline. Yeah.
Why was that ground game so effective coming out of halftime? Was it the number of plays that was called, or was it just the looks that they were giving?
I think, getting out there and being able to establish the run after a first half that was really disjointed by penalties. And again, we've talked about it over and over. The time that our run game's at its best is when we can stay efficient on those first and second downs, convert on some third down opportunities, so that we can stay ahead of the chains and keep working the run game. And I think, the guys did a great job in the second half, especially that opening drive there, of having good, efficient plays. They weren't all explosive plays, but we stayed away from some of the negative plays and were able to get those things going. The O-line, the tight ends, the receivers blocking downfield, and then Ken and Zach with the combination of those two guys getting to work and getting more and more touches, and Ken with the great the touchdown run there on the short yardage situation. So it's just a good efficient mindset by the offense right there, and something that we're always striving for each week.
Shane, you guys hadn't racked up a ton of passing yards heading into that final drive. They seemed to throw a bunch of different coverages and stuff at Drew. How'd you feel he kind of like managed that moment? Obviously, the touchdown comes out of it and works in it, but going into that drive, the way he kind of was handling his personality going into it, then delivering in that moment.
Yeah, I think, leading up to that, it wasn't like we were throwing the ball all over the field, like you mentioned. They did a good job of, having the good umbrellas type of coverage over the top of our routes. And, it was one of those games, too, where playing complementary football, the defense is doing a great job there, keeping us in the game. And we want to just keep playing positive football, not turn the ball over, run the ball efficiently. And then when it came down to it, getting there with a chance to win the game at the end once the defense makes that stop, then I think it just, we talk about it here, it clicks back in, you're in the VMAC, we do this walkthrough 2-minute drills, a couple times every single week, going all the way back through training camp, OTAs, and I think Drew just did a good job of just clicking back in to the moment here and then executing every single play as they occurred, and if something, didn't play out the right way, it was right on to the next play, and knowing in a 2-minute drive, you don't have to have every play be a completion, time is obviously the most important thing, so keeping an eye on that, and, when the opportunities presented themselves, he went to the right spot with the ball, and players made some unbelievable, individual effort plays, starting with DK on a couple of those tremendous catches right there, and then obviously finishing with Jax's touchdown in the back corner there.
Drew told us he reminded them right before that play, like, hey, if Jackson's one-on-one, that's his second game-winning touchdown. He's a guy you've gone to a bunch on third down. Just what about him as a rookie makes everyone so comfortable, whether he was a play caller or the quarterback, just trusting him to make these big plays?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. With Jax, we have total trust and belief that he's going to come through in any situation there. And I think we have a lot of good players, so the ball's, kind of spread out throughout the, the course of the game, whether it's DK or Tyler, the tight ends getting involved, the backs getting involved. And, when Jax has had his opportunities, there's no moment that's too big. I saw a cool replay of, him at Ohio State really making a similar catch. And, he's been there. He's been in, in these big moments before. He's been, a receiver that even going back to his high school career that has just been consistently productive in all sorts of scenarios. So, our trust in him, and all of our guys really is that the ball should go where the coverage dictates. And, in that particular instance there, Drew did a great job with the read, going where the ball should go right there and having total trust in Jaxon to come through with the play.
You told us, I think it was before the Dallas game, you and Pete both made it pretty clear that the priority was going to be getting the ball out quickly and throwing in rhythm. The numbers say that Drew has continued to do that after Geno did it in the Dallas game. What does that look like from your end?
Yeah, I think just overall, because we talked about it, with some of the timing and rhythm in the pass game, part of it's the quarterback, obviously has a big part in that, but it's also how the guys are blocking up front. It's the receivers, being, where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there in the timing and rhythm. And I think just overall as an offense, we've stressed it, try to keep working towards a more efficient goal in the pass game. And I think just overall, all 11 guys that have been on the field, whether it's been Geno or Drew the last few weeks, we've done a better job of staying in rhythm, and that's allowed us, again, to stay a little bit more efficient and staying ahead of the chains.
Whether it's Geno behind Russ or Drew behind Geno, what have you appreciated about your quarterback's ability to stay ready the whole time?
Yeah, I think that, Geno was the guy that was around first when he was backing up Russ, and his ability to treat every single game like he was the starter, even in that backup role. I think that's something that Drew has also learned from and seen happen and seen take place, and I think it's the right way of doing it. I don't think it's a position. It is a position unlike any other, where you're the backup, and most of the other guys, they're going in and out of the game, whether you're a backup receiver or backup tight end. But that backup quarterback, you're either on the bench the whole game, or something strange happened and all of a sudden you're in the fire. And I think both of those guys, Drew taking Geno's lead from before and his mentorship in that role, have treated that like they're the starter every week. So when these opportunities have taken place for them to go in there and be the starter, they've been able to step up and have our offense execute at a high level. Good. All right. Thank you.